I'm going to get this started recording here. And let's continue talking about sampling stuff. So what we did in the last video there, let's just go ahead and do a little, I'm just going to drag this over to here. And so what I did was I found a section of the song I like. Let's do that again. I'm going to go ahead and find another part of the song. Let's go ahead over here towards the end a little bit. Let's listen to what I was recording over there. These guys, so this festival is going down a street, and there's all these cars and stuff going by and everything, and they were kind of directing the traffic. But there's this, this really cool part in here, and because I have so much time, I'm using it from my computer. I can just go ahead and grab a bunch of this actually. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and start it right there. Cool. Nice. You can hear that bell comes in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a section over here before the bell comes in. And I'm going to go ahead and drag this down to copy it. I'm holding down Option to make a copy. And the reason why I'm making a copy is because I still want to grab more stuff from different parts of the recording. So we got this here. I'm going to name it 2. And got this one. Yep, good. I'm going to right click. I'm going to crop it. And now I'm going to warp this. Turn on warp. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Hold on. I don't want to grab it right there. I want to move it back a little bit so I have a little bit of space on either side of where I want to grab, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Boom. Okay. Right there. So I'm going to right click and go to crop, just so I grab that one part there. Whoops. Here's crop. Boom. And go in here. And now I'm going to turn on my warp. I'm going to go down here to where the hit is. I'm going to right click on it and go to set 1 to 1 here. Y'all are there, right? There are people watching me still? Nobody's saying anything, so I'm just making sure that we're good. People are actually in here. So, cool. All right, good. Thanks. Just making sure. So now I've got this here, and I'm going to set my loop position to bar 1. And over here on the left-hand side, this is showing us some information about the sample and stuff. So here's the start point of the sample. Here's the end point. Of course, I got warp turned on. And remember, if I want to loop it, I have to have the warp turned on. And I want this to be a 4-bar loop. Turn my warp on here, my loop. There's that. So now, actually, let's make it an 8-bar loop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab these. So if I'm looking at this, we can see the transients here. And here's 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Or I can be like 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So why don't we do it half time actually? So I'm going to go ahead and drag that in like this, make it a 4-bar loop. We're going to make it super slow. We're going to make a track with this around 60 BPM. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that everything lines up okay. So I've got my warp marker in place here, and I'm going to drag this stuff over. I'm going to drag this one over here so it fits that 1.4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, like that, 4. And I'm going to go ahead and let's just put a warp marker. I'm just going to put a warp marker on the downbeat of things. So here's this one, and we can see it's a little bit over, so I'm just going to move it over to here. I'm just going to put the warp marker by double clicking, and I move it over to the 2. And we're going to do that on every bar. I'm just going to go ahead and put a warp marker down on every single bar. And I'm not going to worry about it being exact. I'm just going to make it pretty rough. I don't want it to be exact. I'm just going ahead and putting these warp markers down. There we go. And again, I'm just double clicking on the transient or where the transient needs to be moved. And now we can see if I play my metronome, cool. And I can loop parts of this. I could loop maybe, let's grab this. And let's make a loop where it fits the best. Let's see this here. That sounds pretty good right there, actually. It's a pretty clean loop. Yeah. We can try back here, right here. No, I like the other one better. Yeah. Now, a couple things. One, what we're looking at here, this black bar across the top is our loop. That's our loop section here. Here's the start of the loop, here's the end of the loop over here on the right. And this flag in the middle is our start point of the sample. The start point of the sample does not have to live inside of the loop. So what I can do is I can take this and I'm going to drag it over here outside of the loop over here to bar 1, boom. So now we've got that, so it starts over here. And there we go. Got a cool little loop going on here. Let's grab some more. Let's grab, let's see what's over here at the end. Because I mean, I was recording for a long time, 20 minutes, and just kind of grabbing stuff that sounded pretty cool. Yeah, these people are playing these like flutes, and it's like, it was really interesting because it like they had certain notes that they were playing, but it really seemed like they were just like, all right, play these notes, but play however you want to play them. And some of the things that was happening seemed to kind of make some kind of rhythmical sense, like they worked together, and other things didn't. It was very, very interesting the way it all kind of fit together. I've never been to Bali before, so That's more of the same. Let's see. And I'm just going to move the start point around. This is more of the same. Oh wait, what's going on there? Let's see what's over here. There's that. That's kind of cool sounding. You hear all the drums and stuff that are just in there. They're just kind of like, people are just like, dugga, 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 dugga. I'm just hitting my drums. But it's like such a cacophony that it works. And that's what they were all doing. So it's pretty interesting. So I'm going to grab the flutes from over here. Yep, I'm going to grab these from there, and we're going to grab these from over here. What type of beat this is going to be? I don't know. I mean, we'll see, right? Right now I'm just enjoying sound and just making some cool sounds. We'll worry about the beat later, shall we? I'm not worried about starting off the beat yet. 3, 4, Bali beat. African tribe? I mean, if the African tribes went to Bali, sure, but they're pretty far away from each other. I should get a map and I should show you where Africa is and where Indonesia is. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and crop these two here. Crop. Boop. Black Panther. Except not at all. I don't think there are any panthers in Indonesia. But I could be wrong. All right, there we go. Let's put this here. Let's make this 4 bars. And we're gonna go ahead and hit play. And I'm gonna turn off the warp for a second though. Let's see. Okay, so the one I'm gonna use in here, I feel about being my producer. I don't produce other people. Sorry. So in here, thanks. Okay, so what we're gonna do is this. We're gonna pull this in here. And what I'm listening for, if you can hear it, this is one steady rhythm that's going throughout the whole thing. And it was this guy who was sitting up in a tower and he was just like playing this. He was just literally just, his whole job the whole night was just to hit this. Tick, 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 tick. These 2 log drums like this. Tick, tick. And I'm going to go ahead and use that. Cool. So we're going to grab that, and I'm going to go ahead and warp that and loop that. So where this is here, I'm going to put a 1-to-1. So I'm going to zoom in here so y'all can see it. I'm going to right-click where I've got my start point. I'm going to go 1-to-1. So 1-to-1 there. And go over here, and we're going to say, okay, I'm going to move this over like that. And we're going to listen. Cool. So this is one here. I'm going to grab this and drag it over number 2 right there. And so here's a cool thing you can do. I'm not creating loops. I'm creating different loops that I'm going to put together. on different tracks to showcase different sounds that we can fade up and down and stuff like that. Just to kind of see how these things work around. So it's not loops within loops. What I'm doing is I'm taking loops out of the overall big recording. And what I'm going to do here is, so what I did, this concept is a little bit weird. But what I did was I grabbed this one here. This is the next downbeat for the next bar. So I locked this one in place over here on the left. And then I go to this one, and I'm going to drag this over so it lines up with the downbeat of the bar number 2. But then what I'm going to do, and this is where things get a little bit weird, is I'm going to double click it to let go of it. And watch this. I want you to pay attention to the right-hand side of the screen over here. And what's going to happen is it's going to spread out. Boom. You see how that just spread out like that? Well, the reason why I did that, here, let me do that one more time. I'm going to do it. Here, let's move over. So watch what happens when I double click. It just spread out. And the reason why I did that was because Ableton Live has this like telescoping thing. It telescopes things out to the side. So this just telescopes stuff. And I'm going to put a warp marker here. Let's listen to this with a metronome and see if it works. Yep. I'm going to move this one over. And each time I double click it to turn it off, it's going to spread it out again. And let me get this length set to 4. I'm going to move this one over. This is probably one of them. And after you've done this a few million times, you'll get used to seeing what these waveforms look like and stuff. And so I can see this to me looks like one of those little hits, the drum hits. So now let's listen to it with the metronome. Cool. And I could play it with this one over here. And you can hear it's all like weird sounding because this one's actually slowed down a lot. So let's go ahead and change the warp mode of this second drum I just brought in. It's kind of cool sounding. It doesn't sound natural at all, but it sounds kind of neat. Let's put a filter on that. Cool. And let's make another one here. So we have this one here for that stronger sound. And let's grab the flutes out of this one here. I want those flutes. I don't know if I have flutes somewhere else in this recording. I mean, I'd probably go through it, but let's just see if we can't grab some of these flute sounds out. Let's do that using Pro Q3. So first of all with this, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the low frequencies, really strong cut. I want these flutes. Let's grab these flutes. I cut the highs as well. Let's put some reverb on these. a delay on these. Cool. That there. Neat. Cool. So we're getting some like background sounds and stuff like that, and you know, just some neat little things, and showing you how we can like mess with those. Now let's take this and get a little bit more interesting. What I'm going to do here, let's get some rhythmic stuff going on. What I want is I'm going to go back into these recordings here. Let's go over here to this one. That's nothing. Delete. You can right click and delete these. I don't know what that was supposed to be. Oh. Yeah. This is a recording. I went to a classical gamelan concert. And it was really strange. Let's see. Cool. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to grab this one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to sample these and put them on keys on my keyboard. And we're going to do it pretty quickly. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to find the part that I want. I'm going to stop everything from playing first. And go over here to this part. All right, yeah. And these, like, some of these kids just had cymbals, and they were just like whenever they wanted to play. It was like, all right, whatever, you go, kid. So I got this over here. I'm going to grab this section here. Now, if I just right-click and crop this, it's not gonna. It doesn't crop my original sample. It doesn't. You don't have to worry about it overwriting your original sample. Let me go ahead and save this actually. Bali Street loops. I'm going to delete my original ones here. Okay. So I've got this one here. It's kids loop. And now I'm going to go ahead and warp this. And let's see. Whoops. Oh, right. That's right in the beginning of it. Cool. Yeah, so I'm going to grab that there and warp that. Set the 1 to 1 there. And let's see. Hold on. So this part here I have to calculate kind of in my head. 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so this here, if you look over here, this one here is the downbeat. And I know that just from watching it as it played. Wait, where'd it go? Oh, stop it. Stop being weird. Okay, this one here. And it's over here, boop. There we go. And let's grab this. Let's grab a 2-bar loop. Put my loop to 1, turn that on, 2 bars. There we go. Did I just crash my computer? I feel like I just crashed things. Let's see what happens with Ableton Live. This pinwheel of death is never a good sign. This little guy right here. Pinwheel, pinwheel. Go, go, chun, 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 chun. Oh, thanks. Live unexpectedly quit. So when live crashes, when live crashes, live unexpectedly quit while you were working on the live set, Bali Street Loops. Would you like to recover your work? Yes, let's recover. Let's see what happens. Okay, cool. So I got my kids loop here. And, okay, it crashed right before we were warping it. Oh, okay, we got the warp in here. Oh, good, okay, cool. So, set my position to 1, my loop to make to 2. Turn the loop on. Nice. There we go. Cool, so. Awesome. Okay, so we got that. Here, let's speed this up a little bit. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab individual notes from there, little individual sections, and it's going to sound kind of weird, but we can put it into a track. So what I can do, and this is a really, really cool trick that you can do in Ableton Live. And you can do this in Logic as well, but Ableton Live is, I like where it goes better in Live. So I'm going to right-click on this and go to Slice to New MIDI Track. This one here, Slice to New MIDI Track. And what this does is going to take each one of these and stick them on its own note on a sampler. So I go in here, I right-click, Slice to New MIDI Track, go down here, and go to Create 1 slice per transient. Now, I could set up with warp markers if I wanted to, or I can do it to the grid, but I'm going to use transient here, slicing preset built in, preserved warp timing on, sure, whatever. And I'm going to click OK, and there we go. And it puts it on my keys. And now, if I hit play on this, it actually will play it. It's got a little MIDI clip here, but I can also go ahead and turn that off. Let's play these. Cool, grab a little thing like that, and let's just move that over. So now. All right, so we got that there. Let's go ahead and put some other drums in here. Let's make some other drums. Let's start with an 808 kit. Let's make this sound a little bit pretty. So what I'm going to do with this here is, first of all, I got those kick and the snare drum. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and separate that out. Extract chains. We talked about this stuff the other day. Here's my snare drum. And let's go ahead and get this. Let's get the hand clap as well, even though the hand clap doesn't have anything going on. And, oops. And finally, let's get this cymbal. Where are you? Yep, that's so. Cool. Awesome, so we got that there, and we'll extract that one as well. Sweet. I'm going to get rid of this 808 kit, and here, let's go. Sweet, there's my bass drum 808, and this is my snare drum. And here's my hand clap 808, and here's my cymbal. Yeah, the extract chains is a big deal. Yep. Here's my sim 808. Now, what I'm going to do in here is, let's go ahead and rename these here and get this set up here. Boom. Yeah, Hunter, that's what I used to do actually until they introduced this extract change thing in here. All right, so we got this in here. Now, what I'm going to do is, you hear there's like a little reverse thing in here. Okay, I like that. And I'm not a huge fan of this triplet thing on the end here, so I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that. Now I'm going to use the envelopes. We talked about this last week. I'm going to use the envelopes to get rid of this, my clip volume envelopes. And I'm going to get rid of these here. Boop. Turn them down. Hey. Turn that down. Well, I didn't do it. It's part of this thing, but I was actually about to show you all how to do this reverse thing. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to take this clap and this here. I'll put that on the clap. The hand clap. There we go. And this here is coming from the automation inside the clip. We talked about that last week, actually. That's clip automation stuff. Look at one of the videos from last week. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you how to flip this around backwards. Now, we can just use the same sound, the same clap sound, but this clap sound's a little bit short. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this out, and we're going to put a snare drum in here. So I've got my hand clap in here, and we're going to put, let's see here. Let's get a snare drum, and I'm going to find a snare drum that has a sound that I like, and I'm just going to use the samples from Ableton here. I'm going to go into my snare drums. Let's use that one. And what I'm going to do here, actually, instead of using MIDI, I'm going to use audio for this. And I'm going to drag the snare up here into this. Now, I usually wouldn't recommend using audio for this, but for today, we're going to do this. And I'm going to set it for a 1-bar loop. Turn my loop, length 1, like that. So now I have this here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do it in my other screen over here. So I just brought all my samples into this window here, my arrangement view. I'm going to loop them out for 4 bars, and we're going to get this one, we're going to put it in here. And actually, I don't need it to be this warp thing. And we're going to take it and we're going to flip it backwards. And I flip it backwards by just going down here and hitting the reverse button. This is how you flip a sample backwards. Boop. Hit that reverse button and it flips backwards. And now I'm going to line it up. There, right there. And then we just spend some time making it fit right. So I'm just going to set a 1-bar loop here for now. Turn the volume down on this so it's not killing. Press R. Oh, is that like a shortcut now? Oh, cool. Okay, thanks. Okay, so we got that. Now let's go in here. Cool. Now, if you want this to kind of, let's warp this. If I want this to kind of stretch out a little bit more, I can hold down Shift, and you see that little arrow? I hold down Shift and move it around. It's going to be weird because I'm in Beats mode. There we go. Cool. I'm going to put a fade on it. There we go. Nice. There we go. Turn that up a little bit. Nice. And you see how the end is actually going over the start a little bit here of the downbeat. And that makes it so it feels, the rhythm feels good. Cool. Nice. So we got that there, a little reverse snare, reverse snare drum. Have that. Now, if I want to take this and put it into a loop and put it back into my other track, which is what I like to do. I like to do like pretty much everything in my session view until I'm ready to lay the song out. What I can do is I can highlight this whole bar here and hit Command J, and it'll put it in there, and I can just take it and stick it back in here. So now I've got this over here like this. And make sure I loop it. I'm going to turn this one off here. Cool. don't want these playing right now, so I don't have to mute them. All right, let's take that and move that there. Cool. So I have this. Now this symbol here, let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and turn this into audio because I want to mess around with it a little bit. And I'm just going to do that right now by going in here. And remember, freeze and flatten. We talked about freeze and flatten before. So we're going to go in here. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to freeze track. There it is. Freeze. And it's going to freeze it. I'm going to right click again and go flatten. And now it just turned that into audio. Now, when this is audio, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it. I'm going to make the pitch go up and down a little bit. So I'm going to go back to my envelopes here, and remember, just to kind of answer your question again a little bit more than just pay attention to the videos from last week. Let's see here. How do you do automation, Hunter? You asked me about how I can do automation inside the track. Well, that's if you look down here in the lower left-hand corner, this little circle right here turns on your clip envelopes. Clip envelopes are right here. And I can just go in here and adjust whatever I want. So I'm going to go to clip and I'm going to go to transposition. And we're going to take this transposition and first of all, we're going to put it down like this. Yeah, and I'm just going to have this go up and down by 2 steps, just kind of the whole time. No, it's been there for a long time. It's in Live 9. Yeah, it's all in Live 9. Cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this plugin on it. I'm going to go ahead and resample with this plugin. I'm going to go into Sound Toys. I mean, it's not much to go through, Hunter. You just literally go to the lower left-hand corner of your screen down here and see this little button here. It's called clip envelopes. And you just click on that, and you go to your, and then it's going to open. So if I have it off, this envelopes is not here. And then you click on that, and you go to envelopes, and then go in here, go to mixer, or go to clip, sorry, and go to clip and go to transposition. And if it's an audio clip, you're going to have transposition. If it's a MIDI clip, you're not going to have all the same stuff in there. Yeah, it's dope. Yeah, totally agree. So what I'm going to do is in here, I'm going to use my micro shift, and I'm going to use my micro shift, and I'm going to crash. Do I have this iLock? I do have that iLock. The iLock's plugged in. Hey. Why are you asking me? It's possible that. There we go. All right, so now let's listen to that cymbal. Adjust that here. Cool. Sweet. So that sounds pretty good. Now I like this micro shift sample on it, and I just want to keep it on there. So I'm going to go ahead and just do that again. Freeze and flatten it. Now I've got freeze and flatten set up with a shortcut on my keyboard. I went through that last week with that you can put, like I have this thing called Keyboard Maestro, and I went through that. Whoops, not that. I went through this one here, Keyboard Maestro. And if we want to talk about that, we can talk about that on another day, maybe not a normal school day here. But we've got this, and now what I'm going to do with Keyboard Maestro is you notice that, because you can hear those sounds are a little bit delayed, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and move that over. And put this as an 8-bar loop, but start it at bar 1, boop, like that. Cool. Nice, we got that there. Sweet, okay, sounding pretty good. Now, what I want to do with this here, let's get that kick drum. Now, it's not really thumping. Like you're probably listening to this and you're being like, man, that sounds pretty lame. It doesn't sound that great. Well, we're gonna go in here, we're gonna beef this up a little bit. First thing I'm gonna do is make this 808 sound better. So let's just go ahead and, okay. Now that 808, whatever, it's not the best 808. So let's find a better 808 sample. So what I recommend is before you start adding a ton of effects to things is actually just find the right sample. I don't know if it's sounding weird just because mine's not. Oh, I see what's happening. Hold on a second. Let me change this. Let me see if I can change this real quick. My output. Somebody's jamming outside. Jam, jam, jamming, jam, 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 jam. Actually, you know what? I'll deal with it later. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find this here. It's meh. It's very meh. I'm not in love with those sounds. So let's, where would I find some better 808s? Well, I mean my Warfare samples, but I'm gonna use that for my bass. So here, I'll just go back. I'll just use this one here. Here, let's just use that. I'm gonna throw it on top of it. There we go. Yeah, much better. Cool. Nice. Little fade. Cool. All right. Sounds much better. Now let's go to here. Actually, let's just listen to all of them. Nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and duplicate this. Let's find a kick to make the front of that kick drum pop a little bit. So I'll go ahead and do that. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find a different kick drum in here. And let's use, well, that's kind of cool. So I'm just gonna double click it. Yeah, there we go. So now let's hit play. Yeah. Nice. Right, and you can hear, now it's got a little pop on the beginning, right? So I'm just gonna take these two bad boys right here. This is my 808 kick, my bass drum 909. And I'm just gonna group these together. Command G to group, and I'm gonna call this one bass drum group, like that. All right, so I've got my two drums grouped in here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these together. I'm gonna put this drum kit together, and then we're gonna talk about resampling the drum kit and running it through effects and giving it some something, okay? So, I got this. Now in the group, whoops, that's not what I wanted. We wanna have, what do I got? I have the glue compressor here. There we go. All right, sounding. Clipping our output here. Cool. All right, so there's that. Now let's find some better hand clap and some better snare drum sounds. So the snare drums. Let's dig through some of my other sample packs that I've got. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna duplicate that, and we're gonna go in here and, oh, I can't because I changed my hard drive a while back. Ugh, it's super annoying. Well, I'm gonna show you what you can do here. Well, you know what, let's take a break. Let's take a break, let's take 10 minutes, and what I'm gonna do is after the break, and let me write myself a note about this. After the break, we are going to talk about loading drum, like full folders of drums into into Drum Rack. What do y'all think about that? Okay, so I'm going to show you how to load in full folders of drums into Drum Rack so you can set up your own drum kits and stuff really easily. And this is all sample related, and we're going to take this and then we're going to come back and talk about making resampling and stuff like that. All right, coolio. So yeah, we'll be back here in 10 minutes at, what time did I say? 3 o'clock? I meant 4 o'clock. So be back at 3:50. Be back here at 4 o'clock. Cool. All right.